barium hydroxide.
Will not react. Why barium hydroxide? Which of the following will not react with dilute nitric acid? So nitric acids react with carbonates. Acid reacts with bases. So bases means oxides and hydroxides. Then acid reacts with metals.
Calcium chloride.
Yeah, answer is this one. Because it will react with hydroxide, it will react with oxide, it will react with carbonate. This one, which is your answer?
Iron sulfate.
Why iron sulfate?
Copper chloride, because copper is an unreactive metal.
So copper chloride is an unreactive metal. So this one, you're supposed to have copper plus hydrochloric acid. Because you said that copper don't react with acid, so this reaction cannot happen. So answer is this one. That's what you said earlier. Iron sulfate, right, iron can go with sulfuric acid. Reaction will happen. This one can. This one is
Some question put silver chloride. Write a balanced chemical equation for that. But silver is an unreactive metal.
You can. Which question?
No, some question in the exam papers.
Silver chloride.
Yeah.
Silver chloride.
Yeah.
Form a reaction. So this one, right, you will have to use two reactants that are soluble in water. So you will use silver nitrate and hydrochloric acid. Or not necessarily hydrochloric acid, you can also use sodium chloride. Just two solutions that are soluble. So then when that happens, right, you have silver nitrate plus sodium chloride, let's say, then you will get sodium nitrate and silver chloride. Because this one is insoluble, it will precipitate immediately. Then you can filter out. So you can produce silver chloride in that way. Okay?
Yeah.
It is not, silver chloride is not made using metal plus acid.
Means unreactive metal still can react, but
you can react.
It's not by them.
It will not be by metal and acid. It will be some other thing. Maybe you can use the metal hydroxide with the acid. You can use a metal carbonate with the acid. That is also possible. But you cannot use the metal like copper, silver, gold. If you want to form gold chloride, you cannot use gold metal with acid. Nothing will happen.
You cannot use gold by itself.
Cannot. So you have to use gold hydroxide, gold carbonate, gold oxide. If you can find gold oxide. So it's not always metal and acid. Okay? And I know this preparation of salt, this section is very confusing for most people. That's why I have a lot of question, a lot of practice for this one. So answer is D here. Now, this one. And they say insoluble salt. So insoluble salt is like just now you asked me that question, right? it will be two soluble solution. You add them together, then the insoluble salt will appear. Sorry?
It's B.
D. Because of what I said, right? Your turn.
Nitric acid and potassium hydroxide.
Nitric acid, potassium hydroxide. Good one. Answer is also very simple, I think. You can type out in words because you have to practice how to write also. So that cannot be avoided. Explain why titration is suitable for the preparation of this salt. The reactant and the product is soluble. Yeah. Soluble in water. Add these two. Or you can write it like they are soluble. Okay, they are solutions also can. Selfie. Calcium sulfate.
Precipitation.
Okay, why precipitation?
Acid insoluble salt.
Okay. This suggests the suitable reactants to produce calcium sulfate. Calcium nitrate and sulfuric acid. What else can you use other than these two?
Sodium sulfate.
What else? What are
Potassium hydroxide.
you cannot really use calcium hydroxide. It's not very soluble. Calcium hydroxide.
Calcium oxide. Sulfuric acid.
No. If it's a insoluble substance, you can only use two aqueous solutions. So your sulfuric acid is correct. Your calcium nitrate is correct. So things like calcium oxide you cannot use because it's insoluble in water. Then you can use sodium sulfate. That one is correct. So you can use calcium nitrate and sodium sulfate. Okay. Then you can also use calcium nitrate and potassium sulfate. Also okay. Okay. But calcium nitrate here is the best if you want to use some calcium something. You want to try this? So you chose calcium nitrate and sulfuric acid. Okay, what's the other side? What other products? Okay, what's the product? Is it balanced? Okay. So then this is equals, this is equals, this is solid, this is equals. So we want to write ionic. So you have to split this into ions, split this into ions, split this into ions. So this one, you have two nitrates here, so you should have this. There are two hydrogens here, so must be like that. Then down here you wrote 2, so there must be 2H and 2 nitrates. So then to proceed, you cancel out the ions that are the same. So this you cancel out. And the hydrogen you cancel out. Then you will copy the rest. You get calcium 2 plus sulfate 2 minus gives you calcium sulfate. Like that. This is the answer. Okay. Give me a moment. You can look at the answer. Look at the question and write the answers. Okay, correct. Hydrochloric acid. Okay, very good. So which means they want you to describe how you would prepare potassium chloride via a certain method. So you have to decide which method and then give the steps. Okay, one image to help you. So write down the steps. You will need to know how to write this because they really do ask for this kind of question. So you would eventually see this question somewhere. So what is the answer? 25 cm cube of sodium hydroxide in 20% 2 drops okay, into photo and so they use acid in the view. They use potassium hydroxide in the burette. Then after that, solution turns orange. You are adding the methyl orange to potassium hydroxide. So it is, if you add methyl orange to potassium hydroxide, then it should be yellow, not orange. It's orange or red in alkali, then in acids it's reddish. Then in alkalis like potassium hydroxide is yellow. Then after that, so what are the steps after this? So your indicator card, this thing is you need to relook. What else? Then what else after this? What else after this? You have the diagram to help you. How? What's next? Okay, so let me show you the answer. So it's this long. You have to lay after your answers, you need to do the whole process again. Then you collect the salt solution, you heat it up, and then let it crystallize. And after that, you can wash it to get your crystals. So you have to know how to write this because they will eventually ask you to write a process. The only thing is you don't know whether they ask you to write for titration or some other salt preparation method. So then there's this ionic equation. Ionic equation is this one. Then because I have shown you how to write the ionic equation earlier, so I'm not going to write this anymore. So this is 13 and then just nice.